have been many studies that show that neurotypical people do not like autistics, even when they don't know that they're autistic. Neurotypicals have really embedded social norms. They have socialized to the world around them in a different way than autistic people have. And this is because they feel safer when there's conformity. They have less that they have to try to predict about somebody else, the more like them that person is. So even without understanding what it is about you that they are worried about, they're worried. It takes extra cognitive effort to...
There's a certain advantage that comes with being neurodivergent. Now hear me out. I have ADHD. I was born with it. I didn't ask God for ADHD. If I could flip the script, I probably wouldn't have it. But given the circumstances, all right, there is a certain advantage that comes with being neurodivergent. All the trauma, all the pain, all the years of feeling different, all the years of feeling like an outsider, has brought you to a level where you understand yourself more than the average person. The depths to which you understand yourself and your insecurities and your flaws and the things that you don't like, the things that you want to work on, you're so self-aware, which can be, a curse and a blessing. But you know so much about yourself, the world, and the way that you see things is a more, I don't want to say is right, but you see things for what they actually are. This is very scary to neurotypical people. This is extremely scary because they live in a world where, society's norms and, people's job titles matter, and there's like a hierarchy with which we have to adhere by. When you're neurodivergent, none of that matters. You could give a rat's ass about that stuff because you have your life that you're worried about. You have your own pain, your own trauma. Things are already hard for you. The years of trauma that's led to CPTSD, the childhood trauma that's affecting your relationships, the lack of systems that you may have, or the system that you have that's not working as efficiently as you would like for it to work, could be frustrating you. There's so much that you have to think about when you're a neurodivergent person. So when you pop back into the neurotypical world and you see how people are living, you're going to come into that world with a sense of authenticity. You are okay with who you are. And even if you're not, you're working towards that. But you're peeling back the layers. You're fighting like hell to unmask. And when you're neurodivergent, especially when I'm not sure like at what age, but I feel like in your late 20s to early 30s, as a neurodivergent person, you start to really put a lot of intentional effort into unmasking. And you ask yourself questions like, who am I? And oftentimes you find that you don't know who you are. 28, 34, 38, 41, 42, 55. This could be at any age. But when you realize that you don't know who you are, you go on this quest, you go on this journey to find out who you are and to create a safe space to where you can be yourself. Yeah, when we go out to, Walmart, or we go out into the wild, as I like to call it, yeah, we'll mask, sure, because we have to sometimes. But you'll start creating a world for yourself, a safe space where you have your friends, you have the people that you enjoy, you'll have maybe your house, or you'll create a world for yourself where you feel like you're a person of value, you feel love, you feel respect. And a neurotypical person is just not going to see the world in the same way. For them to go through, for them to get to where you are, imagine the pain, the stress, the trauma, the drama that they'd have to go through to get that level of understanding of themselves. So what happens is when they interact with you, they sense that, oh, this is a person who is genuine, they're kind, they're authentic. They appear to know themselves, or if they don't, they're working towards getting back to themselves. That scares a lot of neurotypical people because you're holding the mirror up in their face, and your authenticity, when they see that, it reminds them of how inauthentic they are, and the fact that they have to play by society's rules, and they have to, follow the status quo. So a lot of neurotypical people will project onto neurodivergent people. And the title of this video, I agree with everything that the guy was saying. He was on the money, and you should go watch his content on TikTok. I like what he's saying. And the title of the video said, neurotypical people do not like neurodivergent people. I think that's the title of the video. I'll take it a step further. I think a lot of neurotypical people don't like themselves when they meet neurodivergent people, because they see how themselves they are. So just keep that in mind. I know none of us chose to, have ADHD or autism or dyslexia or so on and so forth, but given the circumstances, we're doing the best that we can. I always remind myself of that. I'm like, all right, Kojo, you're doing a good job. Your best is good enough, even when it's not good enough. But for today, it's good enough. So keep in mind that even though we have what we have, we possess a deeper level of understanding, and we are doing our best to get back to ourselves. And I think those efforts should be applauded.